I still work with the angels. But the most recent part of my journey was bringing in this really extremely cosmic consciousness, which I was terrified of in the beginning because it just felt so darn big. And I had dreams about it. I have a very clear dream where on the dream I'm on a raft, like a wooden raft in the middle of the ocean, and I'm with a bunch of people. And I know there's this really giant, scary presence coming towards me. And I know it's coming for me. And I tell all the people, I'm like, save yourselves, like run away. I'm telling everybody else to leave because I know this being is coming. And she comes in and she sits and she just settles next to me on the raft and just sits next to me. And that's the whole dream. So I had to really work through, because the thing is it's expanding is terrifying. Expanding is really scary. So, I've had multiple dreams. Another dream where I see three frequency bands and I'm in the first two frequency bands, and then there's a third band above me and I see my head is right on it. And I'm afraid to go into it. And my guide is with me, encouraging me to go into it. And I look up and I see that band contains all that is. It's oneness with everything. And I feel if I go into that, I will lose my mind. It will be so overwhelming and that's the fear. I'll lose my mind. So it's been a process. But so I eventually got over myself and I began channeling her. And but the challenge with that is that so she's amazing. She came through on a couple of occasions where the first time she came in, she came into my body and then channeled through me for 6 hours straight. It was unlike anything I've experienced, where she gave me a first person experience of how she was formed and who she was, and showed me how she became the mother of creation, and to see it from her perspective, it was mind blowing. I can't even tell you, mind blowing. So that's how she communicates with me a lot. Like she'll show me, she'll let me feel it, experience it. But she is like, who is she? She is, there's so many different female goddess types, right, that we have, that many of them refer to her. So I think it's Humea that births, like one of the things she showed me in that experience, that she births souls from all over her body, which is the legend of, I think it's the Hawaiian goddess Humea that births from all over her body. Or no, I can't remember which one, I'm sorry. But anyways, there's many different aspects that all reflect her, that are all about her. So it's like she's been spoken of in many different cultures in many different ways, but she is essentially the mother of all souls. And yeah, incredible. The first as the meditation opened up, when she first was, before she came into my body and began speaking through me, she showed me the vision. I see a vision and I see Yeshua. I see Yeshua walking away to be incarnated, and I see Yeshua's mother. And I assume at first, and I think it's Mother Mary, because I think it's Yeshua walking away and that's his mother. It must be Mother Mary. And I know he's walking down a lane, and I know he's going to be incarnated. And I know that his mother knows everything he's going to experience and how he's going to die. And then it occurs to me, wait, that's his earth mother. His earth mother is on earth. Who's this? Who's that? And I realized, oh, it's his spiritual mother. And so and then it goes from there. And I realized she is the mother, not only of Yeshua, but of all souls. Yeah, it was mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, mind blowing is the right word, but it's interesting as well, just that relationship with mind at that frontier, right? Because it's almost like we put our best practices into place. We're using
Yeah,
the mind to get us to a destination. And then at some point, you've got to let the GPS coordinates go. you know,
you do. You do. Yeah,
it's
you
really
really do.
dynamic, which is just, yeah, it's fascinating to hear you share. I mean, there is and one of the points you made a few moments ago, like just pressure as well. I think that was so healing just to hear you talk about the pressure, because so many people, like right now, especially those that are a bit more conscious at this particular time, it just feels like such a squeeze for so many
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
And as you're describing, the pressure is actually part of a function that's sort of like, it's a squeeze to get you into kind of where you're going.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I want to sort of circle that back into a couple of things that you said before, which is like, you said we're actually born at this particular time with like two different sort
So
of
yeah, aspects
rules.
of our soul.
That's really trippy to
I
feel into,
know.
in
Yeah.
terms of like, And do you think like one is going to go by the way and then one we step into, or like what's actually why what's going on there?
Yeah. So the way I would think about it is that in the same way that you can have an inner child, right? Your inner child, if you tune into your inner child, if you tune into an inner experience that you had, inner trauma, say if you go back to age 3 and you remember trauma from that time period and you remember what it is to be that child self is very real to you and exists inside of you. It's just that you are now the mature self and that you are the one that's kind of driving the ship most of the time, but sometimes inner child is driving the ship subconsciously. But so you exist inside together, but you are the one that's mostly on top. And so it'll be like that. So it's not that we forget who we were, all those pieces are still there. It's just that we now have access to a higher bandwidth, a higher frequency of ourselves. Same us, higher frequency, higher octave, which gives us access to unity consciousness, to telepathy, to a much more openness, where it's like a spiritual perspective, right? Opening your eyes and your mind to a spiritual perspective. Yeah. The other big thing that happens with that is that in this lifetime, this is the first time humanity has been born with access to our entire akashic record, to to all the information of our every life we've ever lived. Like in the past, every lifetime we've lived, we had access to those past experiences, past lives that were relevant, right? It was like we would pick and choose. We would say, okay, I'm coming into this life. I want to bring in this trauma. I want to bring in these specific gifts and these specific skills in order to have this experience. And so we would pick and choose off the shelf, and then the rest would be locked away. And there would only be a few people on earth who were gifted with the ability to by, with permission, to be able to access the Akashic records. But now doors open. Everybody. So the idea is we are meant, because as we move from this state of consciousness to the higher state of consciousness to the next phase of consciousness, the one that we are in is the one where we are meant to learn through contrast, where we're meant to learn about ourselves through this experience of confronting ourselves. It's an amazing school for learning. And so this has been like a book. We have the book of all our past lives, all our past issues, where we have been trying our best to explore ourselves. And the goal is, how much of the book can you read? How far can you get in the book? And some people have only gotten a couple chapters, and some people are way deep in the book, right? They've learned a lot about themselves. So when we go through the shift in consciousness, then we get to leave the book behind, right? And that's great. Like we will get to shed all of our karma when the shift in consciousness comes. Amazing news, right? All our karma comes away, which by the way will feel like our bodies, it'll be during the flash of light, our bodies will start suddenly feel very heavy, and we're meant to lay down and not do anything. Just lay down and let the angels, the heaviness you feel is the weight of the karma as you're beginning to lift to it. Just like how I felt heavy when I was trying to connect with the angels. So you'll feel heaviness in your body. You'll lay down, you're lifting from your karma. But the important thing to know about that is what that means is that we can't take the book with us. That if you want to get the most out of the experience we've been having, read as much of that book as you can now. Because when we leave our karma behind, we will no longer have access to it. It goes away, and we will no longer be able to learn about ourselves in the same way. The lesson changes. In the new state of consciousness, the way of being human, we will be doing a different thing. We will no longer be living in a karmic experiences of recreate, like seeing ourself and our world, recreating our wounds outside of ourself and encountering ourself in that way. In the new state of consciousness, we will learn as manifestors. The job will be to tune in telepathically to what does the people around me, what is most needed by the earth and by the people around me, the people that I love, by humanity, and what is it in me that will fulfill that best? How can I express my soul in a way that is most of service to humanity and to the earth? And then we try to create it. And the challenge is, in the process of creating it, what problems do we have? But we don't do it karmically. We are like riding the wave of consciousness, solving them in the moment. So it's a very different experience of learning about our limitations. So the book, if you want to read the book, do it now.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely love this, well, then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.